All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a question that I think a lot of us have. What actually makes prayer work? We're going to look past just faith and really dig into the mechanics, the actual architecture of prayer, from a scientific and even a psychological point of view.
So, be honest. Have you ever been in a situation where you're praying for something, maybe desperately, and it just feels like you're talking to an empty room? Yeah, it's a pretty universal feeling, right? And it's that very feeling that makes us wonder if there's a better way to do this.
Well, here's the cool part. The answer isn't just in one field. What's so wild is that when you line up ancient religious wisdom with modern neuroscience and psychology, this incredibly clear pattern just emerges. And today, we're going to break that pattern down piece by piece.
So, let's start by looking at a few different styles of prayer. Think of them like building blocks. We're going to start with the most common one and maybe the least effective to figure out what a stronger foundation looks like.
First up is what we can call begging. This is that raw, gut-level cry for help, the please, I need this, I'm desperate prayer. We've all been there. It comes from a real place of pain, a place of urgency.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Religiously, this kind of prayer is often seen as okay, especially when you're suffering. It can even give you a little bit of emotional relief in the moment. But if you look at what's happening in your brain, it's a totally different story. This state literally floods your brain with fear and a sense of not enough. It reinforces the deep belief that you're helpless. It narrows your thinking, and it just crushes your motivation. It's a really shaky foundation to build anything on.
Okay, so let's level up to the next style, commanding. This is the prayer of authority. It's the idea that you can speak to a situation and demand that it change. And it feels really powerful, right? But, and this is a big but, it's so easy to get this one wrong.
And this slide just nails the difference. Trying to command the outside world, to speak to the mountain and expect it to magically move, that's just not reliable. It doesn't work that way. But commanding your inner state, now that is a game changer. When you say, I refuse to stay hopeless, or I command myself to be disciplined, you're taking back your personal authority. You're literally pulling yourself out of a victim mindset. So the takeaway is huge. Command yourself, not the universe.
And that brings us to declaring, the prayer of affirmation. This is all about stating what you want to be true as if it's already a fact. Things like, I am provided for, I will succeed. You're using the power of your own words and belief to shape your reality. So why is this so effective? Well, religious texts have said for centuries that life and death are in the power of the tongue. And in neuroscience, we call this neuroplasticity. When you repeatedly declare something, you are literally rewiring the circuits in your brain. Your brain starts to act as if that statement is already true, which shapes your identity and builds real confidence. But here's the crucial part. A declaration without action is just a wish. The real magic happens when your actions start to line up with your words.
Okay, we've looked at these different building blocks, but now we're at the absolute bedrock of this entire structure. This isn't just another technique. This is the essential foundation for everything else to work. And I'm talking about gratitude.
I really want you to let this sink in for a second. The source material couldn't be clearer on this. Gratitude is the strongest foundation of effective prayer. Seriously, if you forget everything else from this explainer, remember this. It's that important.
And this isn't just some feel-good idea. It's backed by hard science. When you practice gratitude, it physically calms your nervous system. It actually lowers stress hormones like cortisol and boosts the good stuff like dopamine. It literally shifts your brain into a whole new operating mode.
And check this out. This slide shows you exactly what that shift looks like. It's like a tale of two brains. When you're in fear mode, that's the state of begging, your brain is stuck in lack and desperation. Your thinking gets narrow, your motivation dies. But when gratitude flips you into safety mode, your brain enters this amazing state of appreciation and clarity. And suddenly, you start noticing opportunities you missed before, and you can act with confidence. This is the prime state for creating change.
All right, so you built your foundation with gratitude, you've made your declaration, now comes the final individual piece of the puzzle, and honestly, for a lot of us, it's the hardest one, the art of surrender.
And when we say surrender, don't think of it as giving up. It's actually a power move. It's a strategic release of control over the outcome. And the benefits are just huge. It cuts down anxiety, stops burnout in its tracks, and keeps your mind open and flexible. When you trust the outcome after you've done your part, you can act without panic. You bounce back faster from failure, and you stop sabotaging yourself by overthinking every little thing. It's a massive strategy for resilience.
Okay, we've gone through all the individual parts. Are you ready?
Let's put it all together. This is the winning formula, the synthesis of everything we've been talking about. So here it is, the 4-step formula in action. First, you start with gratitude. That calms your brain and gets you into that optimal state. Second, from that calm place, you make your declaration. You're programming your mind for what you want. Third, and this step is non-negotiable, you take personal responsibility. You have to do the work. Your actions have to match your words. And finally, number 4, you surrender. You let go and trust the outcome, which stops anxiety from messing up all your hard work. See how each step just flows right into the next?
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, here's a really simple, powerful example. Thank you for what I already have. I trust that I am being guided. I commit to doing my part with discipline. I release fear and trust the outcome. Do you see it? It's got all 4 elements right there: gratitude, declaration, responsibility, and surrender. And now, let's bring this all home. Let's talk about the final and maybe the most important truth of all: aligning your inner world.
At the end of the day, the biggest takeaway is this. Effective prayer isn't really about convincing God or the universe to change things for you. It is about aligning your inner world. It's all about creating change inside of you first. When your mind is clear, when your emotions are stable, when your actions are consistent, your external reality almost has no choice but to start changing too. And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If the whole point of prayer is to change you first, your mindset, your focus, your daily actions, then how could your world possibly stay the same? That right there is the real architecture of prayer.